Now, more than 2 years ago, I made a video about minimalist shopping tips that a lot of you loved, and I still love it myself. But since then, I really observed myself and how I shop, and I realized there is something deeper going on that I never talked about, and that is the real reason why I stopped impulse buying forever, because it goes a lot deeper than just tips and tricks. And that's what I want to share with you today, how I stopped impulse buying forever without willpower, and how you can do the same thing. And I'm so excited because I think this video can be truly life-changing. Now, the reason why it's so hard to change shopping habits or any bad habits that we have is because we're usually relying on willpower, but then there is something in the background going on, so we almost have a battle within ourselves. So what I want to introduce you to is a different concept that will change how you look at your habits. And what I want to talk about is that every single habit or behavior that we have falls in one of the 4 categories. Now, the first category is what I call I should category. And this is where we find ourselves usually when we want to change habits, because there is a little bit of a conflict in this category. Maybe you don't enjoy the activity or there is some resistance, but at the same time, you still know that it's beneficial for you to do this thing, so you want to do it. Then at the opposite, you also have I shouldn't category, where it's kind of the same thing, just a little bit differently. This is something that where you enjoy doing something, but then you know it's not beneficial for you. So again, you have a conflict of interest, and then you say, I just shouldn't do it, I shouldn't do it, even though you love it in the moment. Maybe you know it's not good for you in the long term. But luckily, there are 2 more categories, and the first one is what I call I want to category, because this is something where there is no conflict. You want to do it in the moment, so you enjoy the activity, but you're looking forward to the results and the benefits of this activity. So there is no conflict. And when you have in your life, if you think about it, when you have those moments where there is no conflict, how easy it is to do something? Very easy, because it makes sense for you to do it. And then of course you have the opposite, I don't want to category. And this is again somewhere where you don't have any conflict, you don't really feel like doing it in the moment, and you also don't enjoy the benefits or the results that this activity would bring. So there is no conflict, and you just simply don't do it. There is no willpower, no inner struggle. It's very simple. And the reason I'm telling you this is because with this video, what I want to achieve is to move you from either I should or I shouldn't category to I want to or I don't want to, because your life is going to be so much easier when there is no inner conflict. And this is how I changed my shopping habits forever, because before, when I was relying on willpower and I was just like, I shouldn't buy this, I shouldn't buy this, it wasn't really working. But now I genuinely don't want to buy something, and I genuinely want to buy pieces, only pieces that I wear and enjoy, and there are 10 only. And it's also important to mention that this is on the spectrum. So sometimes you're gonna have a little bit resistance still to do the activity. So what we want to achieve is that you wanted more than not wanting to do it. So we get over that 51%. And then for the rest, you can use a little bit of willpower. But the more that you want to do the activity, or you see the short-term gains, and the more that you love the results, the higher chances are for you to actually follow through. And I know life is not perfect or 100%, but as long as you're over 51% in both activity and the results, you're on the good path. Obviously, this works in any area of your life, but now we have to talk about shopping, and specifically shopping for clothing items, because that's what this channel is all about. And what I'm gonna share is 5 things that I did in my life, that I changed in my life, that really got me from I shouldn't buy this much to I don't want to buy this much. And this is where the power lies. The first thing that I did is I decluttered my closet ruthlessly. And this is really important, because when I'm talking about decluttering your closet, I'm not talking about going in there and just taking a few pieces out. I'm talking about a dedicated decluttering session when you go through everything and you're really honest with yourself and you declutter everything that you know you're not gonna wear or enjoy anymore. And the reason you have to do it at once in one sitting is because I want you to feel a little bit of pain. And maybe you're thinking that's a wrong approach. You shouldn't feel guilty or shame or any kind of pain when you're decluttering. But if I'm completely honest with myself, that's what changed my shopping habits. When I felt the pain of decluttering expensive items, when I felt the pain of decluttering items I never ever wore, that pain, I said, I don't want to experience that in the future. I don't want to declutter things that I never wear or that are really expensive in the future. I don't want to do that. And this was such a powerful experience for me that really shifted the way I see shopping and the way I see clothing items. So don't be afraid to feel just a little bit of pain, but at the same time, I want to mention that you don't want to punish yourself for this. You don't want to be mean to yourself. You don't want to take this shame and guilt with you forever and ever. This pain is just a little teacher for us there in the moment, so we can really recognize how decisions that we made in the past brought us to this moment, and that's it. Then we have to let it go so we can really have peace of mind. Now, the second thing that I did that changed my perspective even more is I started selling my decluttered items. And maybe you're thinking, what? What does that have to do with anything? If I get the money back, I will feel better. But honestly, when you start selling items, you realize how much money you wasted, because you bought something for, let's say, 1,000 euros, and then you're selling it and you have trouble selling it for 500 euros. Maybe you have to compromise and sell it for 400 euros. And then you're like, oh my God, I wasted so much money. I mean, this is just an example, and some things sell better than other things, obviously. But I personally, when I started selling my decluttered expensive stuff, I was in shock. I thought these things are super valuable and expensive and people are gonna love to have them, but no, I had to bargain to sell them. I had to lower the price, and for me it really opened my eyes that even if I buy something and then I change my mind about it, I can lose a lot of money. And maybe you're thinking this is a little bit weird and it's not gonna make a difference, but let me tell you, as humans, we have two big tendencies: to avoid pain and to seek pleasure. So once we start linking pain to decluttered, expensive items that we never ever wore, we're gonna want to avoid that in the future. And then the third thing you can do is to either analyze your style, or you can start tracking your wardrobe. Either options will work. You can decide for yourself what you want to do. So for example, in the past, what I did is I really analyzed my style. So when I was decluttering my wardrobe, I analyzed what is the cut, what is the fit, materials, the brands, the colors, the patterns. I analyzed the heck out of my wardrobe, what I'm keeping, what I'm decluttering, and it really opened my eyes. What are my favorites and what are some things that I don't like? And when I realized that, when I realized I don't like a v-neck, I don't like a gray color, I don't like a green color, I don't like a yellow color. When I realized that, for me, it was very easy to not buy those things because I don't want to buy something with a v-neck. Simple. It's not I shouldn't or I have too many of those. It's just I don't want to, because I realized that's not really my style. So that's one option you can do, and I actually have a video on how you can declutter your closet with analyzing, so you can really figure this out, and I will link it down below. But then the other option is to simply track your wardrobe as it is. So you're not really focused on finding your style, but you're more focused on how much clothing items you really need. So more on the inventory that you need in your life. And all that you need to do is, I started tracking my capsule wardrobe, less than a year ago. I have an Excel spreadsheet and just the name of the item, and then I just put the number in. Every time I wear something, I just add one. And I can already tell you, I've been doing this for less than a year. My shopping habits already changed even more. So this is really powerful. So start analyzing, start tracking, and then again, what's gonna happen? Your perspective is gonna be shifted. Your mind, you're gonna see things differently, and again, you're not gonna need willpower because you're gonna see, oh, I don't need this much. Your mind is gonna be blown. Trust me. And honestly, you can do this even with other areas of your life. Maybe you have to get a little bit creative. For example, for beauty products, what I love doing is I wrote down the date when I opened something. So when I was decluttering, I realized how long it takes to use something up. When I have a lipstick that I had for 3 years and it's still, I don't know, 2/3 is there, I realized these things take forever to use up. So for me, that changed my perspective. Don't be afraid to kind of analyze and track other areas of your life if you want to change them. But like I said, today we're talking about clothing item mostly. And as I always ask, if you find this video helpful and you're enjoying it, give it a thumbs up. It really helps me out. But also, if you come so far, leave me an emoji of a white heart down below so I can know. And now back to the things that you can do to change your shopping habits. And the fourth one is to identify the person that you want to become. And you can do it in many different ways. You can be as specific or as general as you want. But the point of this exercise is to get a little bit more clarity on where you want to be in the future, because very often when we just go through the motion, you know, we're busy, life is happening, we don't really stop and think, where do we want to end up? And the same goes for our closet, for our wardrobe, for our style. We're just kind of, you know, shopping and shopping, and maybe we're decluttering and shopping and decluttering, but we never identify what kind of person do we want to be, what kind of style do we want to have, what kind of wardrobe, what kind of shopping habits. And honestly, you don't have to spend too much time on this point, because I just had some general ideas of where I want to end up, and that for me was good enough. So if you're curious, what I really wanted at the time is I wanted to have a wardrobe that is only filled with 10s. So if I close my eyes and I take something out, it's gonna be a 10. And I also wanted a wardrobe that even if I take the top out, you know, blindly, and then I take the bottom out blindly, it's gonna match. And I knew that my life is gonna be really simple if I only have 10s. I don't have to worry about numbers if I only have 10s. And shopping becomes so much easier because the standard of buying something new is now so much higher. So you wanna find something for yourself, something that resonates with you, that is gonna motivate you, and you're gonna start thinking, I want to become this person. This person sounds amazing. You wanna really pump her up, the future version of you. You wanna make her really amazing, and just visualize how much calm you're gonna feel, or how much peace, or how much joy, or how much money you're gonna have on your bank account. You wanna close your eyes and visualize and feel it, because then when you really feel it, you're gonna want to become that version of yourself, and you're not gonna rely on I should. And now the fifth point is also really important, and it's something that I did at the beginning of my minimalist journey, and that is to surround yourself with people that have the mentality that you want to have. So that's why the number 4 is important, because you want to identify where you want to be in the future, and then you can really surround yourself with people with that mentality. And luckily we have the internet, so you don't have to do it in person. You can find awesome creators online. But that's what I did with YouTube. I found so many amazing creators that really inspired me, and they just showed me that it's possible and how they think, and it was just so fascinating. And the more I consumed the content, the more natural it became, because repetition, it's gonna change your mind also. If you keep hearing a thing over and over and over and over again, you're gonna start believing it. And also I wanna mention, in real life, if you have some people that have really, you know, the opposite mentality of what you want, maybe you stop shopping with them. That's how I started, that's how I did everything. I really started shopping alone, and that really changed my perspective. And now even if I would be with people that kind of have a different mentality, now I'm so strong in my mentality, it doesn't really bother me. But at the beginning, you really want to kind of take note on what is influencing you in a good way and what is influencing you in a bad way. And the same goes for the online world. If you have some people that are a bad influence on you, and they're just really talking about material stuff, and they're buying all of the time, and they just have hauls after hauls after hauls, that's also a good idea to unsubscribe, to unfollow, because they're not really the people that will get you where you want to get. And now to the video that I mentioned before on how to declutter your closet and analyze it at the same time. This really changed my shopping habits when it comes to clothing items. So as promised, I'm gonna link it here so you can watch it next. Thank you for stopping by today, and I will see you next time.